What's going on, guys? Welcome back to episode 73 of the Offshore Gamescast. Dave? Speaking.
Did you either forgot who you were or you were answering a phone call in the middle of the podcast?
It's like, when you get those, like, oh, is this Dave? It's like, oh, yes, speaking. I've been thinking about today's intro, and I wanted to do that, but I didn't think of a good way around it, but I still wanted to do it.
I don't like that whole speaking thing. It's bombastic.
Bombastic?
Yeah.
I think it's bombardment.
We had someone come into the liquor store drunk the other day, and when they asked for Bacardi, they asked for Bombardi.
That's fucking great.
I'm Dylan, by the way. That's me. We're here. We're doing a
Dylan's
podcast.
Speaking too.
I am speaking, but I don't answer the phone like that. It's bombastic.
It's tragic.
It's so tragic.
All right. We got an episode today. And today we will be talking about God of War Ragnarok. Also, the Nintendo Indie World Showcase came out. So we'll be popping around over on that. And do not forget, the Season 3 finale and Game of the Year 2022 are coming up only a few weeks away on December 6th. We might have a little side project coming up before that to get everyone a little excited, but I don't want to go too far into it.
We may. There could be a thing happening. That's crazy that our Game of the Year is like 3 weeks away. That's insane to me.
I don't know anything anymore.
I also don't know anything.
Like, I'm in the middle of 4 main games right now and another one coming out soon. Like, what the fuck am I going to do?
Yeah, this might go down in history as our like most quote unquote unprepared game of the year. Not that we're like slacking, but who has the time for all of these games?
Literally, these massive games that are just keep coming out this year, and although there were some duds that I don't know if I'll necessarily be picking back up anytime soon, 2022 still came out full rounded as a really good year.
It did, and here's probably my biggest. I don't know why I'm speaking so negatively. It's not a complaint. My biggest concern is that it jumping right into December. Because, that's how we end our game of the year, is November is the end. It doesn't stop.
No, like December 2nd, Callisto Protocol comes right out, and I'll be goddamn playing that day one.
Yeah, and there's so many indie games I didn't get to touch from this year. There's going to be so many coming out next year, and there's actually multiple big games I don't know if I'm going to be able to touch before Game of the Year this year. So,
yeah.
All right, but let's jump into some of these guests that we have doing some guest posts on our website. We are happy to welcome the Pixel Project Radio. That is Rick and Ben. They bring a new game or video game topic to the table each week to talk about in like a book club format. They do more than just summarize the story. They also analyze the themes, the mechanics, and more. So go check those guys out.
Also, popping up out of nowhere is Alex from Low 5 Gaming. Every month, Alex and Luke talk about the hot game of the moment or an older game that will just get the nostalgia flowing. Check them out on the 15th of every month.
We are also happy to welcome Twitch streamer Bleak Optimism. Lately, she's been playing The Sims 4 and Coral Island. She is self-described as one half wholesome and purity, one half chaos gremlin. So if that sounds up your alley, go to twitch.tv/Bleak Optimism.
Does sound exciting, almost as exciting as Keith from the Main Quest podcast. Keith takes on the task of replaying every game he's ever played, going all the way back to the 80s up to modern PC games. And I don't know how anyone has the time for that.
That's not a task I could do. As he says, it's his main quest, not his side quest.
Literally.
And last but not least, the crew from Pure Dead Gaming is joining. Jess, Craig, and Andy talk about games, news, and more every week. Their latest episode, they go into God of War Ragnarok. So after you hear our thoughts, go check out theirs. You can compare and contrast.
We got some games to talk about. You want to hop right into it, my boy?
Let's just dive right in. Some would say let's snap into place. Let's get ready.
Let's hop offshore and talk about some games
I
casted about.
I gave you the perfect segue. I set you up for it.
Well, I
I
was only
it,
half paying attention.
I don't nope, that segue that doesn't work for me. What are you talking about?
It half the
Because
Marvel Snap.
there we go.
There it is. So if I'm pretty sure we talked about this towards the end of the episode last time. Is I was looking up and the new season was just dropping like right then and there, which is Warriors of Wakanda. I mean, Black Panther's out right now. I cannot wait to go see it. Um, it's the big focus is on him, Black Panther, Nakia Okoye, just a whole plethora of like all their new locations, which some are pretty cool. Um, but
What
I
is the
just kind of wanted to give
location
like
in
a
Marvel Snap? Is it like a playing board?
no. So like remember I was saying last time each there are 3 locations you can play cards. You can play up to 4 cards in each location, and every turn like from 1 to 3, turn 1, the first location on the left unlocks, and you can see what the effect or the ability is. Turn 2 is the second location, turn 3 is the third, and then you play the rest of the game based off that in order
Right.
to get your strategy all together and how you can take down whoever you're versing.
Okay, so there were new ones added for like Black Panther themes, like
Yeah, because
new
they're all random when you
sets.
hop in. So like you'll still play some old ones, but like there are some new like specific like Wakandan themed locations.
Okay,
Which
got it.
yeah. I mean, there isn't really too much to talk about besides the new season is here, and just give like a little update on where I'm at. My collection level is up to 562 now. I'm
Is
at the
that
point
high?
up. It's pretty high. I mean, I'm at the point now where you would get credits, you would get boosters, and then you would unlock a mystery card. I'm at the point where I've unlocked every single card, and I'm now up to collector caches, to which I will either get a form of currency or a random card. So I've been really trying to boost that up in order to get as much as I can, because I'm pretty sure those are the cards from the previous seasons. Because I think they said it takes 2 months once the season ends for the cards introduced in it, if you didn't unlock them then, to come into circulation. So like I've just unlocked Thor for the first time. I got like the Quinjet and some other ones. So like I'm racing through just to try to get as many cards as I can. And then once you hit, I believe, level 1,000 for the collection level, there are like golden collector caches, and those I'm not sure.
Ooh.
Probably just more currency and whatnot. The current season pass, I am level 16. It's when you get to 50 is when you unlock the end of what you're given in the season pass, and then it's just like random credits and gold or whatever as you go on.
Do you
But
know how long a season lasts?
season lasts for about a month.
15, 30, 40. Okay, you're on track.
I mean, I will say after this upcoming, as of right now, I'm also rank level 34. It's been when you start over, you drop, I guess, back down to 20 or so. So that's what happened with this season. I dropped down to rank 20. I was at like 50 or so, and I'm working my way back up. I was doing pretty good today, I will say, but due to new game fever, I've been slowing down a little bit. But I'm still like today. I was putting in a good amount of time just playing it just to make time go by. Today dragged so bad, and I needed something to do, so I'm just going through, and I was able to do a lot for my collection level just to get as much as I can. I got a few new holographics. I got Elektra. I upgraded my Iron Man. Like I have the deck that I'm using, and I want to just upgrade them all so I can have all the hollows for my decks. I feel like that'd be so cool.
You
Um,
would look pretty legit.
yeah, I mean, people come out with certain cards, and I'm like, oh man, that looks awesome. I want that. So I'm like focusing on making sure that I get all the upgrades that I can for the cards that I'm using before whatever meta changes and stuff comes out, and I got to switch it up
Uh
again. But I'm still enjoying it. I mean, you can't really get tired of. Oh snap!
no one can get tired of that.
I wanna go down to the store and I want to take your phone, download it, and then quickly show your face and double click it so it downloads, and I just want you to play it.
I can't do it. I was
I
close the
know.
other day
Oh
because
yeah.
I don't know. It's because we're talking about it. I don't know. It's because I've been typing it into our podcast description and stuff. I've been getting a lot of Twitter ads for Marvel
Mm-hmm.
Snap,
It
and I
it
got close, but I can't. I can't. That time needs
it
to go elsewhere because I know exactly how it will go. I will just want to sit down and play it, and I can't do it.
it's good, dude. It hits that perfect like amount of addicting, but like you don't have to like wait to like you don't it's like you don't have to pay money to like upgrade to this, or like you're not necessarily waiting for anything for like an extra boost or something. You get like a certain like login and like you get a bonus 50 credits every day, but it's just the act of playing the game itself is the whole grab, and it's so addicting.
I I bet, and that's why I'm avoiding it. I don't think it's bad by any means.
I
It
know.
sounds really cool, but
I'm just waiting for the week that comes up where it's like I did it. Got
maybe
Marvel Snap.
I will say once December 6th comes and goes, and we're done with Game of the Year, and my time suddenly opens up more, where I don't have to hyper focus on specific things. There's a much higher chance then.
I say December 6th, the end of the episode, you download Marvel Snap live.
That's it. We're sweating and exhausted from Game of the Year, and that's what we decide to do.
Yep, right at the end, right before we sign off with whatever actor we decide to pick next, it's Marvel Snap download live.
that's that's it. That's
There
the
it is.
reward.
But the reason I've been slowing down is because we got new game fever, and that is the new Pokemon coming out. I cannot wait. I have not been this excited for a Pokemon game. I don't know ever. And it's mainly be just like the co-op feature of being able to play with Emily. And this is like we're going midnight, both of us. We're picking up the games. I got 2 days off. Like I am fucking hyped. But because of that, I have such an itch, and I hopped into Arceus and played that a little bit. But it's like I've already 100%ed it. What else am I really gonna do? Like I just wanted
Fill out that
something.
Pokédex.
I
Do those
100%ed it. Like even the small ones, I was doing that for a bit, and I honestly I made some progress to get towards team like rank 10 in the game. Like I don't know if that'll be happening anytime soon with this game coming out, but it's like I just needed something, and that I got a little tired of quick. But I said fuck it, and I grabbed my Pokemon Sword because I knew I did barely anything besides the main story in that, and I went to work, and I think I played for like 4 hours straight
Damn.
of just like running around, spending all the money that I have buying Great Balls and Ultra Balls and just catching as many things as I could. And I think I started the day off with like maybe 62 Pokemon caught, and I finished at 130. Like I was just running around
That's a
catching
lot.
everything. Yes, just
That's
70.
a big difference.
Literally just running around the wild area, and there, I noticed when I loaded up the game that I still had a Master Ball, and I'm not sure if I don't know if they gave you two of them in Sword and Shield and whatnot, or maybe it's for Zamazenta and Zacian, but I had it, and I was going up against this two separate Pokemon that I wasn't even battling them. I was just throwing the ball to catch them and then booking it. Like I was not there to battle. I'm here to write down like I'm making a tally. But there were these two, one Vileplume and one Vanillux, where I'm just like, I'm gonna use this Master Ball. I'm just gonna catch it. I don't care. Like
Which
when
one
am
did
I
you
gonna?
catch?
I ended up getting both of them without needing it, but oh my god,
Okay.
I was literally just throwing them away, and it was just
'Cause
taking forever.
the Vanillux is I'm very bad with Pokemon names. That's like the ice cream cone, right?
That's the ice cream cone with 2 scoops.
Okay, I was gonna say if you use your Master Ball on a goddamn ice cream cone,
I that's one of those where it's like I hate this one. Like it's so dumb. But there's so many Pokemon that are just so dumb.
there's a lot of dumb ones. At some point, like they get shit for it, but at some point, there's only
So
so
many
much you can
ideas.
do that
I have
you need
better
stupid
ideas than
filler
they
ones.
fucking come out with. Out of boredom, one day I started making up my own. I didn't draw anything, but I started making up my own Pokemon that I thought would just be cool if I made my own like fucking region. And how dope would a poison peacock be?
That would be cool. Do
Right?
they have any peacock Pokemon in general? That feels like a missed opportunity.
So they definitely do, and the new Quackavall final evolution for Quaxley is like half duck, half peacock.
What happened to that? What happened to that Pokemon?
I don't know, man.
How did that happen?
I don't know. But I've just been fucking around in Pokemon Sword for a little bit, and I'm putting it down in the days leading up to it because I don't necessarily want to burn myself out right before. I don't think that would happen either way, mainly because like one of the reasons why I even chose this one is one, it's the most recent, and this is like right before the huge jump to this big open world. Like you still had certain fixed camera settings and whatnot, and even the wild areas just it feels so outdated compared to Arceus at this
Yeah,
point.
that it was. I understand it was like a step towards where they should be heading, but
Yeah.
really that wild area doesn't. It just doesn't cut it.
Yeah. So I just wanted to throw myself in that region in that world just to like excite myself of the fact of how big of a jump Gen 8 to Gen 9 is going to be. And oh my god, I cannot wait.
But you don't have to wait much longer.
No, but
At
it
all.
feels like a lifetime. I need this Pokemon game, dude. I need it. I need Violet right now.
All right. Well, in the meantime, while we're waiting, we do have a couple more games to talk about. I have started Harvestella. We're gonna have a review for this going up at some point. Apparently, it's a big game. Once I'm done with it, so this will probably be the only time I talk about it on the podcast until our review is out. But I want to give my kind of initial thoughts and impressions. So this is that Square Enix farming life simulation deal, but combined with a JRPG. So we'll get into the story of it, and then we'll talk gameplay, which is really like the crux of this. So you wake up during Quietus, which is a season that nobody really knows anything about, but it's highly suspected that it's dangerous and potentially lethal. And of course, you have no memory. So this is very classic JRPG tropes so far. Uh, just casually, a giant crystal crashes on your planet, and there was a person in like sci-fi looking armor inside of it that's referred to as an omen, which is looked at as evil. And then the armor comes off, reveals that there is a girl in there, and now you two are just kind of sharing a place together in this little village. Well, on the outskirts of the village because you're like
Just
kind
you
of
and Samus.
outsiders. No, nope, no, not Samus. So that's like the very early intro to the story. I don't want to go too deep into it. A lot of people will be really into the story. It's weird. It's way more sci-fi than I thought. There's time travel, people
I
from the
mean, it's a Square
future.
Enix game.
Yeah, it is a Square Enix game, but I feel like none of that was really shown in the previews leading up to it.
Mm-hmm.
And now all of a sudden there's just people in like spacesuits and stuff. So yeah, that's happening. Let's get to the
Can't wait till
gameplay
Kingdom
aspect.
Hearts 4 where Harvestella pops up.
I mean, well, maybe I could see it. That'd be cool.
You sound like you know something.
I don't. I promise Mickey Mouse has not showed up in Harvestella. There's no Donald, no Goofy. That's a different one. That's Disney Dreamlight Valley.
Oh yeah, that's fun to watch.
It's fun to play too. It's addicting.
Mm-hmm.
So you have your little farm. It's kind of typical farm simulation. Definitely on the lighter side from other farm simulations I've seen, which is pretty much all right. You have to plant the seeds. You water them every day. Certain vegetables and plants only grow during specific seasons, or they take different amounts of time to grow. So, like, oh, these carrot seeds, or they have different names. They're not carrots. They're carrots. Will take 2 days, but the lettuce will take 3 days. Stuff like that.
Oh man, I
I
love
know.
lettuce.
Well, good news. Time does not pass in real time as in Dreamlight Valley. It is. I've played through about a week and a half, I believe, so far. Maybe about a week. And that
Okay.
only took me about 5 hours, so it's clearly not real time.
Damn.
Uh, you have to be inside and in bed by midnight, or
Ooh.
else you get exhausted and collapse. And then someone has to take you home. It's usually someone who's in your party, who is not supposed to be in the village. So he's kind of leave you on your doorstep, and then the doctor is like, I found you collapsed. I had to bring you inside and take care of you. I have to take a doctor's fee. And then you lose some money.
Ah.
So that seems to be the penalty for that. Uh Everything uses stamina. So mining, farming, attacking, repairing things, anything you do uses stamina. Sprinting uses stamina. The only way to get stamina back is to eat food. You have a hunger meter. There is no penalty to having an empty hunger meter. You're not gonna like lose health, but you don't regain stamina. If you have even the slightest bit, if you have 1 out of 100 stamina, I don't know what the max is. I don't know if it's 100. But even if you just have 1, you will keep regaining stamina until your hunger meter is empty. There is plenty of room to expand your farm. I have a very small farm right now. There's big rocks that I can't do anything about at the moment. I have empty animal pens. There's an extra farm space I can't reach yet. I have a loft upstairs in my house that is just completely empty and I can't do anything with. There's all sorts of upgrades you can get from in the town that are way too expensive for me right now because the stuff I'm getting is not worth enough money. Really convenient. And I haven't exactly played a crap ton of farm simulation games, but you can harvest your crops and then immediately you just have a big treasure chest like right outside your house. So you can just drop stuff in and then the next day you get money for it. So you don't have to
Ooh.
make like
It's
separate
like
trips
potion
or
permit.
anything. Sure. Yeah. Just like that. So there's also the other side of it. That's like the the farm simulation part. There is also like there's characters that have closeness meters. I've gone up 1 tick with the sci-fi girl, and I I don't know if there is romance or not. That has not come up yet. I did just get my first side quest of the game, and it seems like they're broken into like 3 categories. There's main quest, side quest, and then memos. So
Quest.
side quests are just stories. Memos are like, hey, why don't you go introduce yourself to the person at the general store? And then you go there and they're like, this is how the general store works. Stuff like that. It's not really a quest. So let's talk combat. You can leave your farm or the village through this overworld map, and it's like things zoom out and you have like, your big character going across the tiny map. And every like step you take is 10 minutes. You can buy animals that you can use as a mount to make that go quicker. But so time really passes as you're walking along these paths.
So, like, what happens if you don't move? Does time not move?
Actually, I don't know on that overworld map because I've never just sat there. That I don't know. That's just like the over. If you're just like if you're just in the village or on your farm, and you're just standing there, time will go by on its own.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know for the overworld map. But there's not really much like standing there and thinking to do when you're there.
Okay.
So you can essentially go to what is called dungeons from there, which are they have like their main path and a lot of branching paths off where you can find treasures and other enemies. So far, combat is extremely simple. You are mashing 1 button to attack. You can do an occasional skill against them. I haven't had a dodge button yet. There's no block button. The most interesting it seems to get is that you can switch your job when like between combat battles. Which so right now I can be like either a warrior, so like I could wield a sword, or I could be a mage. I could switch between battles, and I can then like mix and match elements that enemies are weak against. But it hasn't been that difficult yet, and I would say my like early impressions, because from what I've read, this is a pretty big game. It seems like it is farming simulation light and JRPG light mixed together. It doesn't really go heavy into either. And for someone like me, I kind of appreciate that because when things get too complicated and too deep, I can tend to be like, that's overwhelming. I want nothing to do with this now.
Yeah.
So it's fun. It's relaxing. The music is relaxing. I have not gotten bored. So there is that. The story is intriguing, if a little slow in the beginning. There's a lot of tutorial, like hours and hours worth of tutorial. The tutorial has not stopped. They're constantly teaching you new things. So I don't know when that will end, but yeah, overall I'm enjoying it. And then
Okay.
we got that review coming. That, like I said, I'm probably not going to talk about it on the podcast until that review is done, because I'm not just going to do little intermittent updates on that.
And plus, with how much there is to do, I can only imagine just like give me about 2-3 weeks and I'll come out with another big update on it.
Like, honestly, yes, especially because since this is review, I'm going to be like heavily focusing on this game the next couple of weeks and really trying to get that done. So
Mm-hmm.
but there is a lot of like, yeah, I planted more crops. This a couple story things happen that I can't really talk about because they're spoilers. So like, I don't
I
really know
passed
how
out a
much more
lot.
there will be. I hope not. If I did,
Yeah.
things go bad.
Oh, you just keep losing money, waking up at the doctor. He's like, I'm sick of this shit. So, picking back up, I don't remember exactly where I left off last week with Elden Ring. I think I mentioned that I beat the Godskin Noble. I was just throwing sleep pots at him in order to just get him to sit down so I could take him out with my Mimic Tear. He was a big pain up until where I got to now, which is the next shard bearer being Ricard or Rickard, whatever it is. He is this. He's one of the coolest fights in the game so far that I have played. I don't know what I can necessarily say because I don't want to give it all away, especially for someone like you who's playing it. But it's this dope ass huge like coiled up snake for the first half in this massive arena. It's underneath or right next to the Volcano Manor. So like that's like the big shard bearer of that area.
Okay.
Um, and when you go down, it's you teleport down and you're just like at the Grace, and then you walk down this very short cave to the mist, and it's this massive arena with this just curled up ball of a snake in the middle. And it over the past week is how long it's taken for me to take him out. Right when you get down, there is the Serpent Hunter weapon, which is the best way to take out this guy because he's got this huge like lava pool around him at the bottom, and you take damage
Oof,
over time
that's I don't
if you're
like
too
that.
close. No. So it's the first time I went to fight him, I was like, all right, cool. I have a Serpent Hunter. Let me just use my normal strong weapon. And then I was like, oh, I need to use the Serpent Hunter because it's got this special effect just for this boss where you go to use an attack and it has like an extended like magic blade that swipes like a good 50 feet away from you in order to attack him and still stay away. But even so, with me and my Mimic Tear, he who has the Serpent Hunter with him because he's a mimic, it still took so long to get right because he's got this annoying ass part of his second phase that is, and you can't use torrent in this massive area, so you're just running and hoping for the
Ugh.
best. You're dodging these skulls and these implosions from the ground, and it is a huge pain in the ass.
It
But
sounds like a very cool fight, but a very difficult one.
it 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 is like it's definitely one of the coolest that I've done, and having your Mimic Tear is a huge relief, especially if I mean using the Serpent Hunter, you both can use it, and you're just swiping left and right. So if you dodge and are making sure you don't get damage and either just having it focus on the mimic, you can both get some good swipes in to a point where you're kind of like timing it just right, and you can just knock them pretty fast to the point where like they're stunned and they're down, and you can go and attack them some more, and then the second phase starts, and I would get so close. Like I didn't really change too much of what I was doing when I was fighting him, but I remember finally getting to the point where I was like, fuck it, I'll try it. I'll try it tonight. And after about like 5 or 6 tries, I finally got it. and I checked my heart rate afterwards. It was 124 beats per minute,
Okay.
which is a
So,
fun thing. Yeah.
yeah. So you had a workout, is what you're saying.
Oh yeah, no, this boss was something else, but he was so much fun to fight. Just even going down over and over, like it's a very short walk from the Grace, and then after you beat him, obviously the Grace pops up at the end there, and it's this giant arena. So it's just like I'm just sitting here in this massive cave, and it's just kind of funny thinking about.
Yeah.
But I want you to find the time to keep playing Elden Ring because it's weird thinking that I have surpassed you at this point with
Yeah,
the things that
there's
yeah.
a couple of things. There's also like, hey, remember Lost Judgment?
Yeah, I do.
I haven't beaten it. And that game's
Yeah, no.
awesome.
Yeah, I mean, like, it's just this year, man. It's cra
Yeah, it's been
I've been trying to keep up with Elden Ring. I mean, so much other shit's coming out, but it's like I've been putting in some time here and there. I'm just about 46 hours in. I just hit level 90. Um, and I'm currently running around the Citadel just trying to navigate the
not the
maze that it
Citadel.
is. I don't give a shit. Just trying to navigate the maze that it is, and I have a walkthrough up right now just to help me through because I'm trying to get to the next boss and like whatever because there's this huge giant area at the end which I'm hyped to go about. This game is so fucking big, it's insane.
Yeah, it's very large. There's a lot to do.
But here I am. I never thought that I would be this far into a Souls game, especially something this massive, and I am just loving
This
it.
is you're seeing this one to the end. There's no way you're not.
No, I'm really trying because it's like I'll use some cheesy things like with the Godskin Noble and like just make it easier on me. But like that Rickard fight, ooh, that was a good moment. Like when I took out Radon on like my second or on my third try, that felt amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just glad it clicks. It clicked for me now. I'm getting good at these games.
Yep. Once you get it, once you get that mindset, once it hits you, it's just that's you kind of can't go back from it. That's it. You're in.
Yeah, no, it's just the same thing with like every certain genre. Like when
Yeah.
I wouldn't play any fighting games. Then I tried Injustice, and then I was like, all right, let me try Mortal Kombat. Oh, you know what? This isn't that bad. Injustice 2 comes out, and I'm like, all right, where's the next Mortal Kombat? It's like, give me them all. Like, where's Mortal Kombat? I even played the Aftermath DLC, which was kind of pointless, but still fun.
Yeah, it's you got to get over that mental hump. I also pretty much refused to play roguelikes for so long. Now I'm just like I'm not seeking them out, but I'm like, oh, this has a cool twist in it. Yeah, I'm gonna check this out.
Yeah, I love when we both fell into roguelikes at the same time. Like, this
Yeah,
isn't that bad.
yeah, we were both so like, no, we have to replay the same stuff. We hate it.
This is bullshit. I'm not, actually, you know what? I'm making some you know what? I like this. This is
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. And to be fair, some games are like that, but
Yeah.
the good ones aren't.
Elden Ring, that's a good game. That is a
Yeah.
good game. I want to go back to when it first came out and I was shit talking it because I just want to hear that.
This is
Because
the back to back comparison.
yeah, I mean, half of it was obviously played up, but still, like,
Yeah,
it's just, I just want to go back and listen to it because now I'm loving it. I'm
you
having a
were
good.
calling it like Souls Card or Elden Card or something because
Because it was a racing game because you have torrent. I'm just like, yeah, you're just
yeah,
racing, like it's just a racing game.
that was the one you kept going back to. I remember that.
It's like, who wants to play this stupid big open racing game? Like, whatever, man, I don't care.
Here you are racing along now.
I know, and then there's not towards these parts of the game. There's less opportunities to use torrent, and I'm just like, I just want to use torrent. It's so much easier if I use torrent, but I can't.
Usually is, yeah.
It is, but we're hopping into the meat now.
Let's jump into this big one.
I put about six or so hours into God of War Ragnarok so far, and surprise, surprise, not surprised, it is fantastic. I am loving it. I don't think anyone's surprised. This game, as just like a continuation of 2018, is just amazing. Like,
Random quick question.
yeah,
I don't remember. I know we've talked about it. I don't remember if it was ever confirmed. Is it still the whole like one shot type deal?
100%.
Sick.
It is. It is so cool. So many moments, like the set pieces, everything about it. So starting off, it doesn't pick up right at the Thor fight from the cutscene at the end of the first one, like I assumed, but it does pick up a few years later with an older Atreus and an even more weathered Kratos. And for the most part, everything is exactly the same. Like when I saw people talking about the reviews and whatnot, saying like, "Oh, this is a very safe sequel." It's like, "Oh, it'll probably there's a good chance it'll get Game of the Year, but it's very safe. It doesn't do too much." I'm like, it doesn't necessarily need to. Like, it's just a fun ass fucking game. I mean, overall, the mechanics are the same. The graphics are obviously better. They just looking at the snow comparison. Like I saw a picture of like the snow in 2018 versus this. There was a point in the early game where I was just walking in circles. I just wanted to see how the snow reacted, and it's good. Like it's just fun and
Yeah.
nice. Um, the
Best snow of 2022.
honestly though,
I feel like this hasn't been a
is
lot
that
of
one of our
snow.
categories? No, snow hasn't been a big thing since fucking 2012. Like literally though.
That's one of our Game of the Year categories, and it's just one nomination.
I mean, yeah. I mean, well, we're gonna search all the games we played. Who had the best snow of 2022?
Best weather.
Mm-hmm. So instead of picking up at the end cutscene of the first game, it kind of starts off pretty average. Of you just kind of like out with Atreus. You guys are hunting. You're doing your own thing, and you get to the point where you find out that Atreus has secretly been out looking for Tyr, the this god of war, in beliefs that he's still alive, that he's not held by Odin, or that he's held by Odin, and like they just need to get him out in order to fix Ragnarok and stop everything that's happening. So Kratos didn't like that of him just doing shit behind his back. Like
I'd
Atreus was
imagine
going out with
so.
Sindri. He was going out with Sindri, and he's just like, when they first meet up, Sindri's like, "Hey, Atreus, how have you been? Like you've been doing good? Oh, it's glad to hear." Like and Atreus is like, "I told him." He goes, "You you did?" And it's just just the way all the characters talk. It's still just so great. It's just I love it. And Freya is still pissed off at you. She wants you dead. Like
Yeah.
one of the first big set pieces is you're on like a uh what are those things, like just like a sled being pulled by these big wolves, and she's just coming after you trying to attack you, and you're like beating the shit out of her, and you finally end up getting away. But not too long after that, you are introduced to Odin and Thor, and that's where things really start picking up. Thor and Odin, like the actors behind them, are fantastic. It's just all the actors in general in this game are just perfect. I cannot get enough of just watching the story and everything that happens, and because it's just one shot, one take, it's just so seamless and put together, and it's like more what's the next game that's going to be trying this? And it's like, will it pull it
Yeah.
off nearly as well as God of War does? But that scene where you meet Thor and he comes into the house, and the first like minute is just silence of him like coming in, checking shit, and he goes, "Just want to talk." And he's like he doesn't even give a shit that you killed Magni and Modi. Like he's just like,
Yeah.
yeah, they were weak, like they're stupid, but still whatever. And Odin is this like fucking lanky like old man just walking around, like, but he's definitely got that like Godfather-esque thing about him going on.
Yeah.
Like
I
he's
can
like, hey,
imagine.
I'm the big boss. And the whole thing with Thor is just like he's waiting to see, he just wants to see the real God of War, so he's like just trying to piss him off to a point, and then he finally gets that and he goes, there he is, there's the God of War, your blood debt's been paid. And then he just disappears. Like he's like, all right, I saw what I needed to see, I'm gone, I'll see you later. And from there it's like, all right,
Interesting.
let's start looking for Tyr and see what we can do. And I don't know what I was thinking when this happened. I'm like, as soon as it happened, I'm like, well, let's get in the boat, let's get right in the water, let's start swimming around and doing that stuff. So the first main area that I've been going through has just been hopping in a boat, going from like beach to beach. It's like a nice like just because Ragnarok's happening doesn't mean every single uh whatever it's called, uh world or whatever is covered in snow and shit.
Oh,
So like,
the different realms.
yeah, the realms, that's what it is. So like this is kind of like a semi-tropical area that you're going around, and you're just going in your boat, going from beach to beach. There's little sparkly areas in the water for resources. You can hit into barrels to get some hack silver in order to upgrade things. Once you get up to Brock and Sindri, you immediately he's like, "Oh, look, the axe is doing good, that's doing good, but your shield's broken." And so as they're working on it, you get to start the new items that you can use, like different shields. You can change into different armor clothing, both aesthetically in order to also bump up your stats and whatnot. So just kind of the basic, but like an upgraded version of it. And you can upgrade each item, put like little runes and slots and stuff to make them even stronger. But as of right now, the only things I've really been doing besides the story when I can is I've been focusing a lot on the side stuff, to which in this area is nothing but taking the boat from beach to beach. And I I honestly thought that this game, it still could be later. I'm only 6-ish hours in, but I assumed it would be more open in a way. But as of right now, I'm going from beach to beach, and it's like I'll land on a beach, and this area has like a platforming puzzle, something to do. And then once you're done that in like 10, 15, 20 minutes, like that area is just like there's no point. You're done there. And then you go from that beach into the water to the other beach, do the same thing, doing these puzzles and just all the collectibles, whatever you can find. The side missions are just like, oh, here are these big oil towers that like Mimir used to do back in the day and he's ashamed of. So can we take those out? Like, oh yeah, let's go do that. And I was kind of hoping more of just like a huge area, which still might happen, but I feel like for the narrative and cinematic sake, I feel like that would be more difficult.
That would probably be more difficult considering the whole like one shot type deal,
Hmm.
especially for it to there to be any like significant side content like that.
Yeah. Uh,
But
in general, though, the game still feels amazing. Combat is just as fluid and nice, and just throwing that axe and recalling it back still is just so good. It's just
so
so
I have
good.
heard, I don't know if you're there yet, and I don't want any spoilers. I don't know anything yet. But I have heard that pretty early on this game can get kind of emotional.
First 15 minutes.
Okay. All right.
And I know exactly what people are talking about, and I was not expecting it. But also, that scene in specific, that is what I think you're talking about, is the same sort of thing as like when Baldur in the first game was talking to Kratos in a certain way, assuming that he would find Faye and like the giants and whatnot. So like the way he's speaking to Kratos is like, oh, you expect him to be like, oh, this is not how you were expecting. But like if you look at it from Baldur's side, it's like, oh, you're a giant. Where, oh, two beds. Where's the wife? Like there's two different perspectives going on here, and in a way, things are happening where like Kratos is bringing him up to Atreus, and he's like, I don't know, that never happened, and it's like, but it fucking did, boy. Like it happened, boy. And so I'm
Boy.
curious to see where that ends up playing out, because I do like it with like this older Atreus, and he's one of those like kid side characters. It's like he's not bad. He had his moments in the first game, but it's like I could see in the future just playing an Atreus game. Like I could just see it.
There was a very specific period in that first one where Atreus really sucked.
But at the same time, that's also the point of the narrative as well.
I know, but he sucked. But then
Yeah.
he got better. He got better again. He was fine before it, he was fine after it.
I mean, a lot of his abilities and stuff are only growing more and more. So a lot of that is
I can
just being
imagine.
able to control it. There was a really cool like mini boss fight in the beginning that turned very it turned much more narrative in its sequence than I was expecting, and I was like, oh damn. Like I just feel like there's going to be a lot of moments in this game where I'll be playing, I'm like, oh damn shit, like I wasn't thinking about that, like this is awesome. And the combat still fucking great. Glory kills, they got some new glory kills. They're fucking dope. Stabbing over and over and over in the same enemies, just fucking them up, and then moving on and continuing.
Are they like going deeper into a parry system with this one? So I've been seeing headlines about a parry system too.
So there are different shields, and like there's a smaller one that's better for parrying that you can do in order
Okay.
to do combat. There's like a bigger one that can stop projectiles and like won't knock you back as far. There's I feel like they're definitely adding more ways to go around certain combat for playstyles, but at the end of the day, it's just traditional hack and slash fun with like some new, slightly new abilities and whatnot, especially when it comes to like using the chaos blades right off the bat. And it's like, oh, this enemy should be better off being dealt with fire first, and then you could finish them off this way better, or puzzles that require you to use the chaos blades in order to get past something and whatnot. Um, but besides that, there's really not much more I can go into besides story stuff. I've only been doing some side stuff and continuing with the story as I go on, and it's very exciting, and I'm excited to see more and just delve even deeper after just the masterpiece that 2018 was. I As of right now, I don't know if I would give it a 10 out of 10, but I still have to see it. I feel like there's, because of these characters and the things that are going to happen, I'm going to fall in love with it and be like, yeah, this game's pretty fucking perfect.
Is it? I know you're relatively early on, but is it surpassing some of your top candidates for Game of the Year as of this moment?
I would say that is hard to say at the moment. I have a good feeling, just based off just predictions, that it'll probably wind up in the top 5 or so, just because of how grand it is. And just like that, like I said, that feeling when you go in and you're seeing the one shots, even just the feeling of the Leviathan axe. Like, I love it when they have it animated where if you walk into a part with a cutscene, or like you're about to do like an animation for a cutscene before you walk into a building, and you forgot your axe, he just holds his hand out and it waits like a second, and then it just pops back in and just puts it away. I'm like, yes, that's cool, and it's realistic
That
to
is
that. It's
cool.
just,
Yeah,
I like this. I like this a lot.
yeah. I'm excited to get to this one.
I wish I could have gotten the collector's edition. I went to go pick it up at the fucking midnight release, and there's more than one dude is walking away with the Jotnar edition. I'm just like, I want to know where you live. Like, give it.
Jump them, take
I
it.
was like, I was like one of the last ones to get my game, so I was like, there was only like me and 2 other guys there. But this is, I have high hopes. I have really high hopes for this one.
Yeah, I sounds good. This is one of the big hits of this year.
It's everything from what it sounds is to be expected, but it is also like in no way a disappointment either, just because it's to be expected. It's still more of the same in a way that's like, this is what it should have been, and it's great.
I mean, I think that's to expect drastic changes out of a sequel is a little harsh. I mean, I have always said that I look forward more to like new things or games with innovations than sequels just for that reason.
Yeah.
But at the same time, that first God of War was just to be clear, I mean the 2018 one, not the first God of War. But
Hmm.
that first God of War was a really good game. There's no reason for a direct sequel to completely change that. Now, if they do a trilogy out of this and then move on to something completely different, sure. Then I expect some decent changes.
I feel
But
like that's what they'll end up doing anyway. Like, even based off that one board in the first game where it's like, oh, here are the different mythologies and whatnot. Like, I guess we're
right.
sticking with this one for a little bit. But like, you could say the same thing about Spider-Man, and being like, all right, they're
Yeah.
obviously not gonna change it up too much for Spider-Man 2, but like, it
No.
was pretty much perfect right off the bat. So like, don't change it. Just add more
Yeah.
cool stuff.
Yep, don't change it. Add some cool mechanics. Add some cool things. But when you're making a sequel, like if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Hmm. And if it's fixed, broke it.
No. Don't ever break it.
Okay, daddy.
Oh boy. All right. On that note, let's move into news. we got some doozies this week. I'm just gonna jump right into a big one right off the bat
This
with
is one I've
this
been
whole.
curious about for years.
So we got the whole situation with Mick Gordon and Doom. Mick Gordon worked on the soundtrack. This has been going on for a couple of years now. So kind of back and forth stuff coming out. Mick Gordon has officially given his full side of things. Again, this is his side, so do with that what you will. But this is what he says. So most of his beef regarding everything happening with the soundtrack and all the issues that have come out of that is with executive producer Marty Stratton. He says, this is Mick Gordon now, says that he was given deadlines for final songs for the soundtrack with not nearly enough time or direction. As in, he wasn't told what the levels or the design of levels would be like, so he could not mold a song into fitting with that level. So he was like, hey, what if I make some bass tracks for you? And then once you have the level design in place, you tell me, and then I can kind of fix those tracks to fit that level.
Mm-hmm.
He says that got denied. And instead he was forced to give these songs by a certain time. So he was, crunching, working late at night, finishing these songs. And because the level designs ended up changing or were finalized later down the line, all that work was for nothing. They were scrapped and unused songs on the soundtrack. So that's already not a great start. At some point, he says he was no longer a part of the meetings regarding music for the game. And they tried claiming that they didn't want to use his music anymore. So they're like, we're not going to pay you. We're not going to use your music. We're changing our mind. And so there were also other times they tried saying like all these other reasons. And it ended up he went 11 months at one point of being unpaid, just not paid for his work,
Yeah,
which is almost a full year.
That's sue worthy right there.
Yes, there are lawsuits involved in this. When the official soundtrack was released for Doom, the OST, he wasn't consulted, and it included tracks that he were told were scrapped and rejected, and he was only paid for half of that, and says he still has not been paid fully for his work on that soundtrack.
To which there are contracts for a reason.
Yes. A lot of the issue seems to be, according to Mick Gordon, when Marty Stratton gets involved. He at some point told Marty he doesn't want to continue working with him. And based on what Mick Gordon has said, Marty has held a personal grudge because of that and is basically trying to completely sink him.
Mm-hmm.
Mick Gordon says that Stratton has berated and blamed him for all criticism to the soundtrack. At some point, they agreed on a joint statement, but Gordon was never like they were going to put out a joint statement about like not working together on the game anymore, like, and just ending it there. But Gordon was never sent one to be like, yes, this is good. Let's put it out there. Said Stratton put an open letter on Reddit, which led to Gordon getting doxxed and harassed and blamed. And it didn't exactly go out as a joint statement like agreed upon. There was a lawsuit at one point, but it involved like Mick Gordon wanting Marty Stratton to take the Reddit post down. He was offered apparently at some point like a 6-figure settlement that ended up falling apart. But there's some bad here. Obviously, this is just Mick Gordon's side. As these things tend to go, it's probably towards the middle somewhere. But at the very least, it sounds like Mick Gordon was not treated exactly fairly in this situation.
It never seemed that way. And after Doom 2016, like, Mick Gordon is the soundtrack. Like, he absolutely
killed it.
And I remember getting excited because the collector's edition of that game was coming with a cassette of both the Doom 2016 and Eternal soundtracks, which I still think is awesome.
Yes, that is cool. But apparently he wasn't paid fully for that, so...
Well, let's hope he gets his justice soon, or the rest of the story comes out and we find out what's really going on.
Yeah, it seems very messy, and no matter what, I'm sure Mick Gordon was treated unfairly in multiple respects. If it is true that he went 11 months unpaid for his work, that's fucked. That's
That's when
almost
you
a year of not being paid.
that's when you stop working. Like,
Yeah, that's just shot.
mhm. On the smaller side over here, we got a new Monster Hunter mobile game announced, being developed by Capcom and Timmy Studio Group, the people who have made Call of Duty Mobile and the most recent Pokemon Unite. They're currently aiming to recreate what defines Monster Hunter on mobile. As of right now, there is no official title or release date given, but I know any Monster Hunter fan will probably jump at this the second anything comes out.
Is that you now? Are you that person?
Not yet. I'm happy to have finished Monster Hunter World. I still have Monster Hunter Rise that I want to get into and play with Emily and Connor and whatnot. But those are also just massive games where I'm like, I can't find the time for these in general. Like the games that I'm like playing right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's we need more time. Time
And
needs
up
to manifest itself in a different way.
and now you see like Pentiment coming out and IGN gave it a 10. It's like I wasn't necessarily gonna play it this year, but
Ooh,
yeah, I got a 10, dude.
that's kind of wild.
Right? Like, and it seems like right
That
now
like the game
Obsidian
looks
is just
cool,
fucking
but
kicking it
huh.
right out the goddamn park.
Yeah, that's
Give me
interesting
Avowed.
because that game
Give me
does look
Avowed.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, also, yeah, Avowed, from what we've seen, also looks cool.
Gimme.
All right. Tales of Symphonia Remastered has gotten a release date. February 17th, 2023. We're going to see a lot of 2023s now.
Mm-hmm. It's that time. Krafton, the PUBG publisher, has acquired Neon Giant, the people who have developed the Ascent. As of right now, there are no details other than the fact that they're making an open world FPS. That sounds awesome to me. I like those words, open world FPS. But
Yeah.
please just don't put it in the PUBG universe.
Well, they learned their lesson with the Callisto Protocol, so
We hope
hopefully
so.
that hopefully that's that with whatever PUBG universe they were trying to build.
Yeah.
This is a cool thing. We got the announcement of a Stranger Things VR game. This is going to come to all major VR platforms. You will play as Vecna, who, if you don't watch the show, is the main bad guy of season 4. You play as him attacking Hawkins and fighting against 11. So puts a little bit of a different twist on it. This is coming in winter 2023, which I assume means like the first few months of 2023.
Probably. I still gotta watch season 4. I'm behind right now.
Oh, you haven't watched season 4?
No, I haven't gotten a chance to yet.
Okay, so you're sitting here going, "Who the fuck is Vecna?"
I know some things, like it's impossible to
Okay,
avoid some spoilers, but still, like I still need to watch it. I loved season 3.
season 4 is really good.
Awesome. Even more awesome is we recently got the official announcement that Control 2 is in full development, currently coming out for PS5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. It's going to be co-published by Remedy and 505 Games. They are still in the concept stage, so who knows how long it's going to take. The first game apparently had a budget of about 30 million, and this almost doubles it at about 52 million. And with how incredible the first Control was, and even more so that they're like, yeah, it's like Alan Wake's in this universe, everything's coming together. Like it feels like we're just going to be building our own little MCU in a way, just based on the Department of Control.
Yeah, and if they mostly keep that as like, oh, here are these connections, but they're not like,
Yeah,
it's not the Avengers type deal, I think that could be really cool.
I loved Control. If I don't, I
Yeah.
will say I do not know if they can top Chapter 9 of the first game.
It I was thinking about this and it feels like they have to try and do something similar, right?
I
Like that
still listen to that song. It is that
as do I.
that that was like top 5 gaming moment of that year. Like,
That was a very cool and just completely unexpected but awesome moment.
yeah.
And like I said, there's no way they don't try and do something similar, but half of, well, maybe not half, but a big chunk of that surprise was the fact that it was a surprise. It was completely unexpected. There was nothing else like that in the game, and then it just kind of happens.
Uh-huh.
And it's very cool.
It was so fucking dope. Please go play Control.
Yes, just chapter 9.
Just chapter 9. The rest of it doesn't matter.
Nah. All right, we got the official time for the exclusivity of Final Fantasy 16 on the PlayStation 5 because there was an ad for PS5 controllers and it showed a little bit of Final Fantasy 16, which at the bottom in the fine print said console exclusive for 6 months. So usually feels like it's like a year for an exclusive, but
that's not too bad whatsoever.
no. So 6 months, and then I assume it will come to Xbox. They were also very unclear with PC because it was originally shown that, like, yeah, it's coming to PC. But then when they uploaded the trailer to their YouTube, apparently they took that part out and are only showing PlayStation. Because it's usually like it's a console exclusive, so it'll be like PS5 and PC, and then come to Xbox after 6 months. So I don't know. We'll see what happens with that.
Modern Warfare 2 has broken a lot of records. This has been the fastest Call of Duty game to reach the $1 billion mark. Also, having the biggest opening weekend for a COD game ever. And being the biggest PlayStation Store launch for COD. I'm not surprised at all after people loved Modern Warfare 2019 and just anticipating, because everyone knew the sequel was coming out. I'm enjoying it so far. It's, to me, at the end of the day, it's just a COD game, but a more nostalgic, traditional feeling COD. But it's still just a COD.
I think the main thing that's surprising about this is that we've been talking for like 2 months now about how no one's talking about Call of Duty. How it's just like, It's just kind of happening. But clearly people were thinking about Call of Duty.
I mean, yeah, the people are out there. They're all over it. I mean, I'm just here for the campaigns every year, play a little bit of multiplayer and move on, unless like Treyarch has a nice new one that's hopefully not Call of Duty Black Ops 9 or something like that, or just give me a campaign or something. Yeah. But this is just a good old fucking COD, man.
I want to check it out at some point.
I think
I'm in no rush, but I want to play that campaign.
More and more as time goes on, it's really getting to the point where it's like, I don't know if all these $70 games are worth it. I've really got to be more picky and choosy. And I just kind of got lucky having the ability after trading some stuff in to be like, yeah, I can get God of War, COD, and pay off Pokemon. It's like, yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, that's a good deal. But I think that with the way games work now, you're safer to say, oh, hey, there's like these 3 really big games coming out back to back to back. Start with one, play it, maybe play a couple indie games, and before you know it, at least one of those other ones is on sale.
Yeah.
Like, games go on sale so quick now.
Especially for someone like me who COD campaigns are only so long, and that's what I'm mainly there for. But it's like, at the same time, as a podcast person and just a game person in general, you want to be in there with the hype, even if you don't care about the hype with everybody. Because like once those 2-3 weeks are gone, it's like, it feels like, what's the point anymore?
Yeah, the podcast has changed the way we game. Like, honestly, like the kind of like the way we look at it too.
Definitely.
All right, let's talk about this Nintendo Indie World Showcase. If you just straight up look at the list of games that was shown, it looks like a lot. It was not as much as it seemed, so I'm just going to kind of blast through these, kind of give a general idea of what each one was.
Okay, dope.
So, started off with Venba, which is a narrative cooking game about an Indian immigrant family that recently moved to Canada. That's coming in spring 2023. It seems like a nice little narrative game that was just like cooking mini games throughout it, and I like me some mini games, so I might check that one out.
Mm-hmm.
Goodbye World is 2 friends working together on developing a game, and their recent ones haven't gone so well, so they both work part-time jobs to meet ends meet. It's coming later this month. It also seems very narrative driven, very based on their relationship and trying to make this game work. So that's an interesting idea. It's kind of a unique concept. Have a Nice Death, that has already been announced. That's coming to Switch March 22nd, 2023. What I'm going to say it's already been released. That came out March of this year. So March of next year is coming to Switch. Aka, I think is how you said this one, was a small open world game about, they said, finding inner peace on an isolated island, which you play as a red panda that walks around with like a suit or something like that, and you can farm or do quests or face your past. You're like an ancient warrior or something. I don't know. It was a little all over the place, but seems like a chill, relaxing game. Pepper Grinder. I was into this one. It the look. Do you remember that game Iconoclasts?
Yeah.
It has that type of look. It's faster though. It's like a fast-paced platformer through drilling, as in you have a giant drill equipped and you very quickly move through the ground. You upgrade your drill to unlock new areas to then progress in the game. It's about trying to recover treasure that was stolen from you. That's coming out next year. They had a quick thing on Coffee Talk Episode 2, Hibiscus and Butterfly. That's coming in spring 2023. If you like that first Coffee Talk, this seems a whole lot like it. Oni, Road to be the Mightiest Oni. You are a vengeful demon warrior, and you were defeated by a hero, and you want revenge. So you join forces with a spirit, and you simultaneously control both characters with one Joy-Con, coming March 9th, 2023. This one was interesting. Desta, The Memories Between, which is a character-driven roguelike, but it's a turn-based ball game, kind of like a dodgeball type game that's coming in early 2023. And I think that this is, which we'll get to a little bit later, very much so an untapped market.
Dodgeball's good.
Not just dodgeball, but yes,
Well,
sure,
dodgeball is an untapped market.
Sure, yes. But just sports games in general that are not just simulation sports games. There needs to be more of that.
Mm-hmm.
A Space for the Unbound. It takes place in 90s Indonesia. It follows high school sweethearts, and some sort of big supernatural cat thing is threatening their life and ending everything. So they're like, we got to go hit the town and investigate what's going on here. So it's a lot about their relationship. One of them can read minds or something, and you talk to people throughout the town trying to figure out what's going on. That's coming out January 19th. I thought visually this game looked very pretty. I was into the art style a lot. After that, they showed Dordogne, I think is how you say that. So you play as Mimi, who is a young woman trying to restore the memories from her childhood. It is very watercolor. It has a style for sure, and it goes hard into it. And it's one of those things where you're switching between past and present. So like you'll be at one location as young Mimi and then current day Mimi. That's coming spring 2023. Botany Manor. This reminded me a little bit of Escape Academy, just in its concept. So you play as Arabella, who is a retired botanist with a grand manor all to herself. And you're basically going around this manor solving plant-based puzzles. So you have to figure out where this plant will grow the best, and very specific puzzles of like, oh, this plant needs to be in front of this fan in this certain environment to make it grow, and then you can move on to do the next thing. So it just gave me kind of that Escape Academy vibe.
I love Escape Academy.
Yeah, I want to play that.
Yeah, it's so good.
Once Upon a Jester, which seemed like a very interesting game. It had that kind of it's like a papery art style. And it's all about improv. So you're improving your own play because you need to get some sort of treasure or something. But I think that the more interesting thing is that this game was made from 3 musicians who are all good friends, and they improved a lot of this game to the point where we're like, yeah, we would just have fun, make jokes, and a lot of what you hear in this game that we voice acted is just first take nonsense that was coming out, which is kind of a cool idea, as long as it flows well. So we'll see about that, but I'm interested. Rogue Legacy 2 is on the Switch, out now. Blanc, do you remember that game, Blanc?
It sounds familiar. I can't place it off the top of my head though.
It was that black and white game where there's like a wolf cub and like a deer who should be enemies, or like one should be hunting the other. And a bad snowstorm hits, so you can play this game completely co-op with another person, but it's about the two of them trying to
Okay.
survive after this really bad snowstorm hit. It looks very cute. That got a release date for of February 1st, so a lot of stuff in the first few months. Now we're going to jump into the highlight reel. Just gonna bang these out real quick. WrestleQuest, May 2023, which last I heard was supposed to come out August of this year, and obviously didn't, but I'm very much so looking forward to that game. Wobble Dogs Console Edition, November 17th. Storyteller, March 23rd. World of Horror, Summer 2023. Curse of the Sea Rats, early 2023. And Inscription is coming to the Switch December 1st. So if you are a Switch-only gamer and have yet to play Inscription, do that. That game rules.
That's probably how I'll be playing
They
it.
close it out with... Yeah, it's such a good game. A Little to the Left, which was a game that was all about tidying up and organizing things. So like little puzzle mini games to where they'll give you, you're just looking down at a bunch of silverware, organize it. And there are multiple solutions. There's multiple correct ways to get past that puzzle as long as it's organized.
There
And
fucking better
occasionally
be.
a cat will come out occasionally and mess shit up. That you have to clean after the, typical cat behavior. So you will then
Just
have to clean after
no
the cat.
unpacking bullshit.
It did not seem like that.
Let me put the goddamn panini press where the fuck I want it.
It seemed like, so it doesn't seem like that type of game necessarily, but it seems like it's just a relaxing little satisfying game. And then so it ended off with something I'm very excited about. Sports Story. This was their big closer. This is the follow-up to Golf Story, which I heavily enjoyed, except this has way more sports now. So it has golf, it has tennis, it has soccer. They also showed volleyball you unlock. I don't remember if dodgeball was one of them. But they showed like a total of 6 or 7 sports in this game. And they were talking like between sports, you could just go hang out at the mall and talk to people. And there's a bunch of side quests, kind of similar to Golf Story in that regard. But I am very much looking forward to this game. And I'm even more excited because they said it's coming out in December. So we're only about a month away.
Next year's game of the year.
It's honestly.
I'm not surprised by you.
I really liked Golf Story. I like that game a lot.
Oh, I know.
That was it.
So after all that, after all these years too, we finally have an update on the Gears of War movie. It will be on Netflix as well. They are having an adult animated series, which is gonna be fucking dope. Like if it's gonna be something like Castlevania-esque and it's just gonna be gory and fucking sick, give it to me. Dave Bautista took to Twitter, tagging Netflix with him in Gears armor, saying, "Can't make this any easier." He has wanted to play Marcus Phoenix for so long, and he's basically had the role all these years. It's just taken so long to get everything, every small piece to fit together. But this is a video game movie that I am very excited to watch.
Yeah, and it feels like you can't make this movie at this point without Batista being Marcus Phoenix.
No,
like you just can't do it.
He is it now.
Yep. So hopefully that part happens. But yeah, this could be a cool movie. All right. November 7th, also known as N7 Day, gave us a little snippet more into the new Mass Effect coming out. They showed some concept art, and it had like a little bit of staticky audio happening, and they were like, hey, maybe look closer at this. Didn't take long for people to decode what was in there, which was very clearly Liara's voice saying, the council will be furious, although they should know by now not to underestimate human defiance. This and some of the art they showed is furthering the idea that yes, it is definitely one of the endings is canon to Mass Effect 3, the one that everyone considers to be the best ending, and they are moving forward with that, which I am cautiously excited for
Every
because
every Mass Effect trilogy, we should just get another Andromeda sequel.
they have to do really good with a trilogy, and then they're like, all right, here's Andromeda 2.
Yeah, but then once the end of the third trilogy, you get Andromeda 3, but the end of the third trilogy is when they start heading to Andromeda 1.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, what?
You know exactly what I'm talking
Are you
about.
saying the end of the second trilogy is when everyone's leaving to go to
The
Andromeda?
end of the third trilogy.
But they left for Andromeda in Mass Effect 2.
Look, man, I'm just telling you what I want to say.
You are telling me what you want to say. You're not wrong about that.
Not at all. We have now the official Game Awards Game of the Year nominations. They are
What are they?
A Plague's Tale Requiem, Elden Ring, God of War Ragnarok, Horizon Forbidden West, Stray, and Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I heard someone mention that Stray was on there, and I was like, really? I mean, good, but really? I mean,
Yeah,
Stray was
that's
amazing. I fucking love Stray.
the first 3 were not too surprising to me. The last 3, I mean, it's not necessarily surprising that Horizon's on there, but we are both pretty down on that game.
We have our opinions on it.
Yeah. We both really like Stray, but it is kind of surprising to see that up there. And then Xenoblade, I don't know. It's a good game. It feels like they had to have like a Switch game up there.
Yeah.
That's
Like,
what
what
it
else are we
feels
gonna
like.
do? What else are we gonna? Nothing else came out this year.
I don't know. I don't know if that one. It's a good game, but I mean, I haven't finished it, so maybe the second half is some sort of incredible thing, but I don't know about game of the year. Well, that's just me. The Witcher 3, the next gen update is finally happening. Everyone was saying like, "Oh yeah, it'll be next year." December 14th is when that PS5 and Xbox Series X and S version update is going to happen. It will be free if you already own the game.
That is something I've been waiting for, and is something that I am not doing this year.
no. No. No,
Not
that's
at
not
all.
exactly a small game that you just jump into.
Nope. And I don't know how or when it'll happen with everything coming out next year.
No. It's unfortunate timing.
We do have time for notable game releases, though.
We have all the time in the world for those.
So, starting on November 15th, 2022, is Pentiment. Coming down on Xbox, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. And as we said before, IGN's been giving it a 10. People are loving it. It's giving me. I didn't necessarily want to jump into it initially, but now I'm like, oh, it's the same thing with Disco Elysium. It's just like, oh, it's got a 10. Yeah, I'll play it. I'll play it.
I thought Pentiment looked cool, and I did plan on playing it at some point, but 10 surprises me.
Right, yeah. And it's like a 10 to 20 hour game, they were saying, but it does a lot of stuff, and it's people are saying it's good.
Well, all right. The same day is Somerville. Not clear on that. November 15th, 2022, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. I believe they're both Game Pass games, right?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
Most excitingly is on November 18th, 2022, Pokémon Scarlet and Violet are releasing on Nintendo Switch. God.
Was that like your Pokemon Stadium announcer voice?
Yeah.
It's quietly auditioning.
Pokemon Scarlet and Pokemon Violet.
Wow. 10 out of 10.
I want it. I need it.
Last, but I don't know if it's least. Maybe it is. The
Maybe.
Dark Pictures anthology, The Devil in Me, is coming November 18th, same day as Pokemon. That's coming to PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. I don't mean to sound as down on that game as I did. I enjoy those games, but these other ones look cool.
Oh, yeah. And we've decided to change things up a bit, and we are going to be ending the episode with the Guess the Game now.
Only the true fans deserve it.
Yeah, you gotta stay to the end if you want to know who fucking kicks whose ass, who's done been had this time.
Spoiler alert, the trend continues.
Uh-oh. Well, starting on November 8th, number 178 was System Shock 2. I squelched.
Same. I would have never gotten that in a million years.
I guessed the first one, and I ran out of my guesses, and it's just,
After that, on the 9th, number 179 was Spelunky. That took me 6 tries. I was sitting there just, I was staring at it for a good maybe 5-ish minutes. Like, I know what this fucking game is.
Yep. That took me 5 tries, and for the same reason, I'm like, why does this look so familiar? What is this game?
We got there.
We did. After that, on the 10th, number 180 was The Sims 4. That took me 5 tries.
That also took me 5 tries. Once they showed the 5th picture, it was very clearly The Sims.
Mm-hmm.
November 11th, 181 was Monster Hunter Rise. That took me 5 tries. I was guessing all sorts of Xenoblade Chronicles games before I guessed Monster Hunter.
That also took me 5 tries, and I showed Emily, and she goes, I would have gotten that first try. I'm like, I bet. You're the Monster Hunter one, but I barely play. I put like 2 hours into it, but I was like, what? I know this. What is this? After that, on the 12th, number 182 was Plants vs. Zombies. Got that immediately on the first try.
That took me 5 tries, and the first 2 were tough, but like I could see if you really know that you would know that.
Oh yeah,
Once it gave the
I
hint
played
of like
a lot of Plants vs. Zombies when I was younger.
Right, and once it showed the hint of like tower defense, sort of. But I saw the image and it seems like more 3D than I thought. So I was like, is it Garden Warfare then? So I was on the right path.
Okay.
And then they showed the fields, like a close up. I was like, oh, okay, it's just Plants vs. Zombies.
Mm-hmm.
On the 13th, number 183 was Cult of the Lamb. That took me 4 tries.
That took me 3. I feel like I was thrown off because of how new it is. And I wasn't expecting such a new game to pop up.
Yeah, very new.
And rounding it off on the 14th today, number 184 was Alien Isolation. That took me 3 tries.
That took me 6. I would have never gotten that if they didn't show the alien.
I was like, hospital, something spooky. Fuck it. We'll try it.
My first thought was Outlast when I saw that sign. It was like, no hospital, no whatever. I was like, Outlast.
It looks so sci-fi. I'm like, what is this? My first guess was The Ascent. I'm like, is this part of it? I don't know what I was like, all right, sci-fi, space, no hospital. Okay, I'll try it.
Did you make that exact noise?
That's my noise when I get scared when I see a mouse.
But there was no mouse in the picture.
No, but it felt like I was looking at a mouse.
so as long as it invokes that feeling.
Exactly.
All right. Well, that makes my final score a whopping 38. That was a bad week.
And I ended off with 29.
Well, there was no chance for me before, and that remains to be true.
I'm sorry.
I don't think you are.
No, I love winning.
If you were really sorry, you would have let me win the last like 3 weeks.
Yeah, I would just guess Manhunt every single fucking time.
Eventually, you would be right.
Yeah, but I did get it right, but this fucking asshole. How the fuck do you get Manhunt on the first try?
I'm a Manhunt expert by playing one of them for a couple hours on the Wii.
Years and years and decades ago.
Yep. All right, I think that's going to go ahead and do it.
We're going to put it to a close. Mainly because I got pissed so fucking bad. I've been holding it. I literally got to just run upstairs and just let my fucking lizard leak, dude. I'm gonna drink.